Okay, so good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to this Thursday's sharing of Harmonize to Energize. My name is Terry Matthews. I've been sharing JIN SHIN JYUTSU self-help largely for over the past 5 years, both live and in the online format. For those of you that are completely brand new to the art of JIN SHIN JYUTSU, it is an art of harmonizing life energy, or prana, or chi. These are names according to whatever culture you grew up, to describe energy that moves through our body, congruently or not, through energy pathways, just as in acupuncture, which they call the pathways meridians. We have the same understanding, but the major difference is that we modulate or adjust the way the energy moves through pathways with what we call safety energy locks, and there's only 26 of them, and they're the diameter of your individual palm of your hand, whereas in acupuncture, they're much tinier, more like little dots, and there's hundreds, maybe up to 300-400 of these points on the body. So by placing our hands, palms of our hands, back of our hands, thumbs or fingers on the safety energy locks in JIN SHIN JYUTSU, we can regulate how this prana, chi, or ki moves through the body. We block it or we restrict its movement by our thinking, our speaking, and our acting. But in the art of JIN SHIN JYUTSU, we have many flows that can help us regain the congruency of the movement. And it was an art that was brought to the West from Japan back in the 70s by a lady by the name of Mary Ino Burmeister. And she had learned from her master, Master Jiro Murai, in Japan during the 40s. She brought the art to America, began teaching it in the early 70s to 80s, and began publishing material which later became her textbooks, began to promote students to become instructors, and now it's a worldwide art. So without further ado, I'd like to welcome my colleague to the right or left of me, Manjeeta. Welcome, Manjeeta.
Thank you very much, Terry.
And today we're going to continue a series on the JIN SHIN JYUTSU lifestyle, which we began a few weeks back, a couple of months back. And this is based on, let's bring up the screen. This is based on page 2 of text 2, and this is a text that you receive when you study to become a practitioner, or at least you study a 5-day class. And here, the slide talks about when the 12 individualized body function energy is in balance with the universal harmonizing energy, there is perfect harmony within and without the body. However, this perfect harmony may be interrupted by daily eating habits, working habits, hereditary characteristics, and where we are today, too dry or too damp living environment. So, over to you, Manjeeta.
Yeah, and then the following couple of months, we'll be continuing with weather conditions, mental and emotional anxieties, accidents causing bodily injuries, or by injection of poisonous matter into the body. Mary goes on to say on that page, one or more of the 12 individualized body function energy may increase or decrease, stagnate, deviate, reverse, or weave in and out and result in disharmony. Careful attention is then made to find the cause of the result of the disharmony. Know myself, be, it is. So today's outline, Terry and I will both be presenting today's topic, which is too damp or too dry living environment. We'll be sharing self-help, and then we'll wrap up with answers to some questions. In the last 3 episodes, we focused on food and nutrition, working habits, and hereditary characteristics with JSJ lifestyle. If you've not watched this recordings, you are welcome to find them on YouTube under Soul to Soul Healing or search under my name. Today, our intent is to share self-help on too dry or too damp living environment. I will also be sharing how I apply these to my everyday life. Please take what resonates with you and forget about what's not. And over to Terry. Do you have anything else to say before I start?
No, that's fine. Off you go.
Perfect. So what does too damp living environment? This could be exposure to pathogens like mold, bacteria, viruses, as well as exposure to harmful chemicals. And these may cause congestion, wheezing, red itchy eyes, mucus, phlegm, and sometimes skin conditions. It may also trigger allergies. But I'm so grateful that we have JIN SHIN JYUTSU both in receiving regular treatments, either in person or remote, as well as doing self-help. So today I'm going to share the first self-help and it's the first depth, which helps to revitalize the body, the immune system, and protects the skin. So let's get started. I'm just going to give you the background before we continue. The first depth finger flow, it would be holding the thumb, then the middle finger, and then the little finger. And we'll be doing both on the left hand. We'll start with the left and then the right. We'll be doing 6 breaths each on each finger. And then when we're done, we'll continue on to the next self-help. So relax, drop your shoulders, bow your head, smile, exhale, let go of all the dirt, dust, greasy grime, as Mary calls it. Let's enjoy inhaling and receiving your breath of life with awareness and understanding, and only 36 of our breaths out of the thousands we take each day. So let's start with the left hand, with the thumb. Just going to give a couple of minutes to, in case if you have not finished. I do hold my fingers every day. Sometimes intuitively picking a finger, I had no idea why I would be holding it. I mean, upon reflection, it makes sense. Before I start with the second help, I wanted to add that apart from my daily self-help routine, I also do a few things to help myself have a cleaner living environment. I wear this it says pure air. I don't know if you can see it. Whoops. Pure air wearable purifier. And it's USB chargeable. So I just have to turn it on. I use a rubber band because I bought this in 2020. I've dropped it many times. So the rubber band is to hold it, but it comes without the rubber band. And I use this when I take public transport, when I'm on the plane, when I'm in a very crowded place, or even when, because I'm allergic to some kind of pollen. So I wear this to help me get a purer air. And it actually creates a 4-foot clean air zone, which reduces my exposure to those allergens and bacteria, fungus, whatever it is. I also use a purifier at home, and it covers my entire home. It also does a deep clean. When I leave home, it will do a 90-minute deep clean for the entire area. And if you want to know more, I mean, you could look up online to find something, but you want to know what I'm buying. I don't make any money out of referring them, but I find that this has really helped me, especially during the pandemic when we can't see viruses and bacteria. That's when I actually got these. The other thing I also do is I use natural cleaning detergents and natural laundry detergent. It really keeps away the chemicals from my environment. So the next self-help flow I'm going to do is the spleen flow, which supports the lung. It's part of the general daily sequence you would find in Self-Help Book 1. The spleen flow is the ascending energy. It helps calm down the body. It helps the nervous system, revitalize the body with any reaction, the immune system, and protects the skin. There is more to the spleen. However, we are only going to focus on harmonizing the body from too damp a living environment. So thank you, Terry, for showing that. So we're going to drop our shoulders, bow our head, smile slightly, and exhale and unload the dirt, dust, and greasy grime. And I'll just lead you on how we're going to be doing. I'll just do a quick run through. We'll start with the left hand on the left side, and you take your left hand and you're going to be putting it on your right. I don't know if you can see it. Can you? Where is my camera? Trying to look for my camera. There it is. So your left hand goes to your left inner ankle, and then your right hand goes to the base of your spine. You can put it face down or palm side up, whatever is most comfortable. I'm just going to leave it there because then we can see the next steps. And the inner side of the ankle bone, that's the safety energy lock 5. It means regeneration, putting off the old and putting on the new. If you can't reach the 5, you can place your hand on the inside of your knee, and that is safety energy lock 1 for those who can't reach the safety energy lock 5. And we'll just stay here for a bit. We're now going to take the left hand, leaving the right where it is, which is at the base of the spine. We're going to take our left hand and we're going to put it at the front base center of the front rib cage. And that is safety energy lock 14, which means equilibrium, sustenance, assimilation. This also aids the hips and the thighs. It maintains our harmony waist up and waist down. Leaving where the left hand is on the right 14, we're going to take our right hand from the base of the spine, and we're going to put it on the left 13, which is the third rib from the collarbone, just above the breast area. This means loving thy enemies, forgiveness, unconditional love. This aids chest congestion. It also helps to balance the appetite, tension of stress of shoulders and neck. Now we're going to take our right hand and we're going to place it between the collarbone and the first rib. This is safety energy lock 22. It means complete gathering and dispersal. It gets rid of accumulation, clears the energy. It's also known as a railroad station. This aids mental, emotional, digestive, physical tension or stress. This is where the lung function energy begins with safety energy lock 14. And Terry will share that with us when we are done. But we'll be doing the spleen flow on the right side before Terry explains or shares that with us. Now we're going to move on to the right side, taking our right hand to the inside of the right foot, the right ankle. I can't turn around. Here. And the left hand goes to the base of the spine. And for those who can't reach the safety energy lock 5 at the ankle, could hold the safety energy lock 1 on the inside of the knee. Now we're going to move on, taking our right hand, put it on the left 14, which is base of center of the front right rib on the left side. I have a nudge. How long do we hold? So you could wait until you feel the pulses in both areas synchronizing. Usually the first step, you could be staying in that position for a bit longer. And if you don't have time, you can do just the first step. Now we're going to take our left hand from the base of the spine and put it on the safety energy lock 13 on the right side, which is the third rib from the collarbone, just above the breast area. In the final step, we take our left hand, leaving the right where it is on the safety energy lock 14. We're going to bring it to the left collarbone, just between the collarbone and the first rib. That's safety energy lock 22. So that's the spleen flow. And those are the two self-help you could use to harmonize, from the too damp living environment. The 22 is such, it's amazing. It's called the railroad station. And this is where the lung energy function begins. And I'm going to hand it over to Terry because he's going to be sharing too dry living environment. Terry, over to you.
Oh, I was muted. Okay. Let's just... So the other topic in this subject area is dryness. And where we're going to begin here is looking at as the season changes and there's less moisture in the atmosphere. We're talking here about late summer and autumn. Externally, the air that enters through the nose or the mouth tends to cause dryness of the mouth, the skin, the scalp. We tend to become thirsty, and sometimes there's scanty urine, as it says here, and constipation. This can be exacerbated by air conditioning or centrally heated buildings. So when that happens, we're going to have to look at how can we balance that with JIN SHIN JYUTSU. And in the main, at the external level, it's going to affect the lung. So we'll do the first step of the lung flow, left and right, which begins on the, there it is, the lung function energy. Why did we go there? Let's go back. Somehow it stopped sharing. I don't know why. Next slide. Oh, there it is. Can you all see that? So we'll begin with the left lung flow. First step, your left hand goes on your left 14, which is where we were for the spleen flow. And then the right goes on the left 22. So we're beginning where we ended. And what we'll do here is we'll do 9 breaths. So let us begin. 9 exhalation inhalations. Left on left, 14, right on left, 22. When you're exhaling, it's a full body exhalation from head to toe. And then as you inhale, you receive the breath. It's from toe to head. And slowly or rapidly, depending how clear the safety energy lock is and the pathway between them, you could begin to feel pulses like the blood pulse on the wrist, the radial artery pulse. That will tell you that the chi or energy is connecting in those two places. The blood follows the chi. Your metabolic rate will be maybe different to mine. So if you've finished already, just leave your hands where they are and just allow the energy to continue to flow. The more, the merrier. And if you're ready to switch over to the right flow, the right hand goes on the right 14 and the left on the right 22. 14 under the rib cage, the right, and 22 under the shoulder girdle, which is in fact, in traditional Chinese medicine, the 22 is lung 1. So you may begin to sense that there's more moisture within your body, within your nose, in your mouth, if you have a dry condition. And with all these flows, it's not like you just have to do 9 exhalation inhalations and that's it. You do the flow, if you can, until you feel the result which you want. And sometimes it'll take several applications of the particular energy locks that you need. And although we're only doing the first step, this is the energy that kicks everything, moves it, gets it into touch. But you can do other steps, as you'll see here, to increase the flow. We don't have time to do them today. So the second aspect of dryness is the internal effects. What happens when there's dryness within, that quality can affect the blood, which pivots us back to the spleen, and in this case, its partner, the stomach. The spleen creates food chi, which is the blood derived from food, blood and energy, in fact. And the spleen utilizes that chi to nourish and moisten the whole body tissues, the organs in the body too. So we've done the spleen already. You could use the spleen flow to help this internal condition of dryness, but you can also use the stomach, its sister, and that's what we're going to do. And we're going to begin with the left flow again, the first step. The right hand is going to go on the left 21, which is under the cheekbone there, which is the left. Just go to your left cheekbone and then go underneath it. Put your right hand there, and that's 21. And then the left hand is going again to the 22. And we'll do 9 exhalation inhalations. Here we go. And as I said before, when the connection is made, you could experience or feel pulsations of both safety energy locks, 21 and 22. Feel that through the skin via your fingertips. And perhaps you can see how important it is to remedy a dry condition, because you may not be able to feel the pulses as quickly because there's insufficient moisture, either externally or internally via the blood. And once you feel that pulsation, you're alive. You're not shriveled up. And of course, we need the body fluids, the blood, the water, to feed all the cells. So this is these pathologies are really important to harmonize. Okay, when you've come to the 9th exhalation, inhalation, we switch to the right flow, and your left hand's going to go on the right cheekbone, just underneath it, and then the right hand on the right 22 under the collarbone. 9 exhalation, inhalations. For those of you that don't have textbook 2, you can actually purchase Alice Burmeister and Tom Monte's book, which I don't have right now. But The Touch of Healing will give you at least the first step, as we've done here, of each of the organ function energies in the body. Okay, so last but not least, we can combine the effect of the first depth via the thumb with the second depth, which governs the lung, by holding a mudra, and we can do it with both hands. It's the thumb and the ring finger. So if you don't have time to do a lung flow, first step, last step, all of it, or stomach flow or spleen, you can do this mudra, and it expands the whole thoracic cavity, and it's connecting you to the spleen and stomach via the thumb, and the lung and large intestine via the ring finger. So let's just place our mudras in our laps and exhale. And naturally inhale. And notice how you feel after all these exercises. Sometimes you don't feel that comfortable because the body is harmonizing, and that doesn't always mean that you feel great straight away. It may be in the process of harmonizing, and it may be going through some of these blockages. And as it goes through, toxins and other pathogens, etc., may resist. They've been comfortable for a long time. So how can you override that? keep exhaling. Really emphasize the exhale. And then receive the breath. In other words, let go. Whenever you feel resistance, let go. If your mind drives you crazy, substitute a positive word or phrase to scramble the mind. So in this case, you might, as you receive the breath, you might say, I receive the breath of life. I am alive with the breath of life. Whatever your heart tells you, whatever you feel, that'll work. Those of you that have studied JIN SHIN JYUTSU, either self-help or practitioner, will know that this mudra is part of the mediator flow. So you're getting third depth here as well. And third depth, of course, is the blood essence. So good, time's moving on, so I'm going to move on. And how do you all feel? You've done some pretty strong practices here, first depth and second depth combined. And you're helping to balance dampness, harmonize dampness and dryness. How did that feel? Anyone got any feedback? Or have you all gone to sleep? Nancy, did you want to say something?
It was super relaxing, much more so when I do that than when I do it by myself. I was almost dozing during it, and I hardly ever do that. So that was beautiful.
Lovely. That's great. Anybody else?
Susan said, thank you. I feel very calm, tired, and good.
Tired, yeah. Well, I don't know which part of the world you're in, and I don't know whether you got AC or, heating or whatever. But when we do these flows, sometimes we are in environments that are actually going against what we want to do. If you're a yogi, you'll actually go in the fridge or something like that. You'll create the environment that suits the facilitation of the harmony of the spleen, the lung, and the stomach. In other words, the dryness or the dampness. But we're not all yogis. But just be aware of that. And Manjeeta mentioned her purifier. You can use humidifiers if you're in a very dry condition. You can put some salt in your water, or you can use a nasal spray with salt. That'll moisten things for you too. You got anything else you'd like to add, Manjeeta?
Gabriella has raised her hand.
Gabriella, unmute yourself. There you go.
Hello, everyone. Hello, Manjeeta. Hello, Terry, and everybody. Sorry I was late, as always. It was England-Denmark football match live.
Okay.
Yeah, the European football. And I've got trouble following the instructions because I don't have a lot of experience. But what I want to say that I followed as much as I could, yes, and it did have an effect. My mouth was filled with saliva towards the end. So I want to know, probably I was deficit, it was dry internally. What do you think?
Gabriella, I'm not hearing you that clearly. Can you up your volume?
Oh, okay. Thinking, okay. Volume.
I think the gist of what you were saying was you were getting saliva in your mouth, is that right?
Can you hear me better now?
A little bit. Were you saying you
Yes.
heard saliva,
Yeah.
you had saliva?
Yes, a lot of saliva towards the end of the exercise. So
That's
I
a
was
good
wondering-
sign. That's
So
great.
I was dry. Was it dry inside?
If it was dry inside and you got saliva, that's perfect. Swallow it.
I actually noticed my mouth being moist. And typically it would be dry because my glass is a bit away from me to have a sip of water. So I've done the stomach flow several times over the years, every day. And today was the first time I've been aware the moist in my mouth after doing that. So thank you, Terry.
Yeah,
Amazing.
the food chi forms the blood which circulates with the spleen and the stomach, and that's the fluid. All right. And once you experience that, it'll create moistening throughout all the system, and you might get saliva. That's one of the roles of the blood. So congratulations, Gabriella. And I just want to say, for those of you that have maybe studied aspects of traditional Chinese medicine or Taoism, the saliva apparently contains all the enzymes, all the goodness of everything that the whole body needs. And when you're in the desert, in a dry condition, and you don't have enough moisture in your body through lack of water, you can swish your tongue to create saliva, the tongue, by the way, governed by first depth, and swallow it. And the theory is you will live. In fact, a teacher said to me, if you ever find anyone who's really got a lot of dryness because they haven't had any sufficient fluid, teach them the swishing. And that is just the tongue swishing around the roof of the mouth and inside. And you should get some saliva if you do that. But it contains all those good things, the enzymes, proteins, everything, you name it, fatty acids, the whole lot. So experiment.
I have got another question, if you don't mind,
Okay.
about the hydration. If somebody has got a problem with edema, right? So it's
With edema?
edema.
Yeah.
Is this exercise going to regulate the amount of water?
Yes.
Is it
Yes.
take out
Spleen.
the excess?
Yes. Spleen flow. You need, it depends where the edema or edema, as you've pronounced it, is, but normally it's in the feet and the legs, and it's affecting the lymph flow. Spleen flow, yes, it will allow the fluids to rise. It's an ascending flow. Yeah.
Excellent. I'm gonna try and do this. Maybe is it gonna be too much to do it for half an hour or an hour every day? Twice a day, maybe?
You
So
know,
just
with
keep-
self-help, how long's a piece of string? You just
So
do it until you feel comfortable. The pulses. By the way, although I said, you know, about the pulses, you can move on from safety energy locks. If you're not hearing a pulse in one of them, you can move on to the next step, because the pull that is created, the magnetic field that's created by the movement, will pull that energy through the more resistant safety energy lock. Does that make sense, everybody? It's a push and pull with our hands. Did that help, Gabriella?
Absolutely, and I fully trust that I'm going to be better and better, because 6 months ago I was in a hospital with cardiac arrest because of being full of water, fluid. I lost in 4 weeks, 5 weeks, I lost 70 pounds of liquid from my body. So that is an immense amount of water. And I wonder how much other good things disappeared from my body because it affected my face, my skin, everything. So I don't know how I can balance and maybe bring
What's the weather like in England at the moment?
It's wonderful.
Oh,
It
good.
was very hot at 20 degrees, and now I've got 17 degrees in my house. I mean, it's an old cottage and it's very cold, but it's as if I've got like air conditioning. It's wonderful.
Okay, so it's possible with your edema that you've got an internal pathogen. You might want to look at that particular situation more than the external in this case, which could be Candida. And that fungus is natural to the body, but if the body's too moist, too damp, it will cling and it will start expanding. It's meant to send its energy to the lung, but it becomes like a bog. And we know that fungus grows in bogs. And then it can't rise because it's a bog, so it starts swelling out to the sides. Spleen flow, spleen flow, spleen flow. Ascending flow. And what did you say?
There is a lot of mold in the house.
Oh, yeah.
The walls.
You better, if I were you, you got to find a way to get rid of that mold or move.
Yeah.
Sometimes the mold is very deep in old buildings or whatever.
Yes.
Damp.
I will move. Thank you. You
Yeah.
answered a big question that I didn't dare ask before. But I know that this is the main cause. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Okay. Anybody else? We're coming to the end of the morning here anyway, midday.
Thank you, Manjeeta. Thank you, Terry.
Okay.
Thank you, Rilla. Be well.
Yeah. Any more questions? No. Okay. So just quickly, thank you, Manjeeta. Just quickly, I want to say, that's right, Phil. Spleen for any leaking out of the usual pathways. That's right. It helps create the boundaries in the cells. That's right. Good point. I'm going to go back to sharing the screen now. And I just want to put a plug in here for Mr. Hackett, who, oh, that's weird. There he is, who was on Sunday giving us a great presentation on the heart. Wayne, who's currently living in Europe, is going to be coming to America in August. And he's going to be doing a class in San Antonio, Texas. A 3-day on self-care. I'm actually going to be there myself. Terry, what is going on? The cost is $385 there. You can see that, I hope. And you can connect with Susan Galveo, Connie White, or Kathy Dunderdale. And if you got time, you can write down the telephone number there. Susan Galveo, 562-896-8165. If you like Wayne or you have never been taught by Wayne, it'll be a lot of fun. It'll be very much an experience to remember. This is a teacher that's taught for nearly, I believe, 50 years, was one of the early teachers for Mary Burmeister, was a senior instructor. It's going to be fabulous, I absolutely believe. So he's going to be there. And then in the second week of August, he comes to San Diego, where he's going to be teaching for 3 days the 33 mysterious vertebrae, their contributions to health and happiness, August 9th to 11th. And I'm told with this particular class, there's going to be hands-on where you're going to be sharing with one another. The first class, it's more self-care. So you'll be working just as we did on ourselves. But in this class, I'm told there's going to be hands-on partnering up. So if that appeals to you, you're going to need to contact Lisa Gritton. And what's the information that she's got? Oh, yeah, Lisa Gritton or Linda Jimenez. And the information, if you want to write it down, is Lisa 619-252-5675 and Linda 619-813-9653. Wayne does have a website, but I don't believe those classes are actually on his website at this moment. So anyway, if you want to get out and you want to experience the community together live and practice self-help or hands-on with one another, Wayne Hackett could be the man to be with in August of this year. Have you got anything?
Yeah, I was going to ask, but Nancy asked a great question. Is Wayne doing any of his US classes online as well as in person on that trip? Like the one in San Antonio is going to be mainly self-help. Would it be online as well?
Not to my knowledge. No, they're both, you know, I think Anita Willoughby attempted that once where she had it online and live. It's tricky.
Sure.
You know, there's a lot of camera that needs to be set up. I mean, for the future, I would, you know, suggest to some instructors if they're interested, that's great. You're going to get people from all over the world that can't travel. If you do it online as well, or anyone can't travel for that matter.
Yeah. So do you know if he's doing any online classes, Wayne?
No, I don't. I'm not aware of it. I mean, if you go on his guild website, the JSJ Guild, I think it's .org, but JSJ Guild, there should be a calendar of any online. He does like these free webinars, which he did on Sunday, but you'd have to join the email list. And I don't have that information right now in front of me, but if anyone wants it, you can email me at Harmonize to Energize, H2energize@gmail.com, and I'll give you the email of Douglas Demachi, who's from Brazil, who will, you know, be able to put you on the email list for when Wayne is doing any free classes. All right, well, that's it for now.
When's the
next
next
week,
one? When are we doing the next on the weather?
oh, okay, in 3 weeks from now, which is the second Thursday of July, Manjeeta and I will be doing a presentation on weather. It's kind of similar to this, but we're going to cover the other 3 elements that we didn't. You know, the wood and the fire and the water. So you get the complete picture. I think Mary made the distinction because in traditional Chinese medicine, which Jiro studied too, the Yellow Emperor, they make a big deal about dryness and dampness. And as you can see from what Gabriella said, it can cause quite a lot of disharmony to the body. But we will cover the other symptoms as you go through the seasons and the types of weather conditions that will affect the other organs in the body as well on the second Thursday of July. But next week, which will be the 4th Thursday of June. By the way, I apologize that we didn't do anything last week. I was exhausted and I just didn't have any energy to do anything at all. So I apologize for that. I had done a lot of JIN SHIN and my nephew was in a serious car accident. And so I was working with him and I was exhausted. I got a lot of help from a lot of other practitioners, but boy, was I out of it. So next week we have a special guest. It'll be a first time for this guest and I'm really looking forward to it. She'll be doing her presentation at 2 p.m. New York time next Thursday. So I wish you all well. Hold your thumbs and your ring finger, if you will, or just go through your, just hold your thumb separately. And if your condition's too cold and damp, do things to help the spleen, stomach, and if they're too dry, do things to help the lung as well. All right? So take care, everybody. I'll put the replay up within 24 to 48 hours.
Thank you very much.
Thank you again,
Thank you all.
Manjeeta.
Thank you, Wayne. Thank you, Terry, and thank you everyone for being with us today. It was great.